everyone, it's Emma. Welcome back to my channel and to another Sims 4 speed build. Today I'm back building a place from one of my books, and today it is the Bookworm's Guide series. Now, the reason I say series is because the bookstore in the Bookworm's Guide is an integral part of the entire series, and all three of the heroines in this series are co-owners of the bookstore. I spent so long on this. This was honestly so difficult because I'm building here in Magnolia Promenade, which is the world that I believe comes with the Get to Work pack, I think. And it's really difficult to build in. It's not a world I ever typically go to because I don't really tend to build a lot of these commercial or retail lots, I suppose. I don't think I've actually ever built a retail lot until now. So this was quite a bit of fun. You might be wondering now why I'm actually building two separate buildings, or it looks like I'm trying to do two businesses, and that's because I was. Basically, the Bookworm's Guide series is one of three separate series in the same town, and just going forward, I'm going to call that the White Peak world because they're all set in the same fictional town of White Peak, Montana. And in this, there is a character who is actually the third book in the Introvert's Guide series. She has a bakery, and because it's set in there, I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if I could try and get both of them on the same lot? I'll do the Bookworm's bookstore today, and then I'll try and do the bakery like for another video. And I sat here and I spent forever trying to do this, and I thought it was really important to keep in to sort of show the process of the building because it didn't come to me straight away, and this literally took me so long. And in the end, I don't actually do the bakery on the same lot because I just couldn't make it work. I needed more space than what I really had just for the bookstore, because in my mind, when I was writing, I had it all laid out, like in my head. I could see exactly where everything was. I knew where the storeroom is. I knew where the staff room was. I knew where the counter, the shelves, the table, because it sort of made sense for routing purposes in my mind, as weird as that sounds. And I realised I just didn't have enough room to sort of put everything in. And for me, for the purpose of the book, it was really important to put in things like the staff room because, you know, there are scenes in the book that happen there. So you see me I think it's in a minute, I get rid of the second building here on the right and I use this one on the left. The one integral difference from the book, and I will talk to you about the book in a second, is that there's an apartment upstairs. Now, I never actually considered what would be above the bookstore when I was writing the book. I never actually thought about it. But for the purpose of The Sims, although you can't actually live at a retail lot, you can sort of stay at your retail lot. So instead of having to go back and forth and do the loading screens, I think you just have to go back to your house sort of once a week or something like that to go and like pay the bills basically, or obviously, you know, so you can basically have a completely empty lot and sort of live, if you would, at the retail store. And so I furnished an apartment upstairs because in my head, this was like a 2-story building. But, you know, also in my head, it's also on a street. And so it has buildings either side of it. Hence, like, why it's sort of so long and it's not this really pretty exterior, because in my mind, it's on like a terrace and it's actually on a hill. So it was really difficult to try and put that into The Sims. At the moment, I'm using some no CC gallery art here. I can't remember the creator right now, but I will make sure to put their name in the description box down below. So if you want to go and use this for yourself in your builds, because it is no CC, it won't flag as CC on the gallery, which is great. Check the description box down below for this, because I do use some inside as well, some sort of bookish art. So I will make sure that I put every creator down below for you. These are the little art things that you can see. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to light it up, because obviously with it being a bookstore, I know it's going to have this sort of on the front. And this is an old bookstore as well. So basically in the Bookworm's Guide series, the overarching thing here is that the three best friends, we have Kinsley, Holly, and Sailor. They are all big bookworms. And this is sort of where they had like their part-time jobs when they were in high school, you know, maybe even when they were in college. And they love the bookstore. They are literally the quintessential bookworms. And so when the previous owner passed away, it was in her will that if her children wanted to sell the bookstore, they had to give right of first refusal to the three girls, which they did. And at this point, the girls had graduated college. They had a bit of money. Basically, they had enough to buy the property with a little bit of help from their parents, and their parents were happy to help. But they're now in this position where they sort of need to make a bit more money. You know, times are changing. They rely heavily on tourism. And that was the one thing I struggled with, was sort of like kitschy touristy stuff. There wasn't really a lot in The Sims that I could do to sort of show that. So that isn't really something that it is in the store, despite it being in the book. But there is other stuff. And a big part of it is they start to focus on like an online merch store. And so I do put a couple of things in, especially from the cluster kit and high school years, which really show that they've got like that merchy stuff. But so at the moment, I'm trying to figure it out. And this was about when I realized I just did not have enough room for everything that I wanted to do. So the idea is they've got sort of this table, and where the three of them work together. The little laptop there on the counter is Holly's. You know, she's like I don't want to say the brains, but she's the girl who does like all of the business stuff, really. Like that's where she sort of thrives, is in like the businessy admin side of things. Sailor is like the outgoing, really friendly one. And Kinsley just kind of does a bit of everything. She's just the girl who gives all the book recommendations pretty much. And this was such a fun series to write. I think I wrote it back in, I want to say late 2020, early 2021. Without looking at my file, whichever one has them sort of stashed in that year, I can't say 100%. That whole period was a bit of a time suck, as I'm sure it was for all of us. So yeah, I'm a bit wobbly on the dates of that. But I think the first book came out in October 2020. And if I've got that right, big pat on the back. So yeah, you can see right now, I've just got the one building. I'm just putting a bit of colour in. And so this series, it starts off, the first book is Kinsley. And she is secretly in love with her brother's best friend, because we all love a good siblings best friend trope. And basically she's really, really bad at dating. Like, she's awful because she's a bookworm. She's a little bit, you know, she's a bit shy. And, you know, she sees all of these romance heroes, and the girl's got some expectations, which is fair. It's realistic. You know, I write them, I understand. And so she is, you know, she's trying to find a date. She wants to start getting back out on the dating scene, even though, you know, she's never really been off it. She's just never sort of met anybody. But she's so awkward, and she keeps getting certain pictures from the dating app. If you've ever been on a dating app, I'm sure I don't need to elaborate on that one anymore. And Josh, which is her brother's best friend, he offers to kind of help her out. You know, he offers to sort of, you know, deal with it, you know, and he's in love with her. He's been in love with her for ages. And as they spend all this time together, she starts realizing that she has feelings for him as well. And it all goes a little bit crazy. There's an old people's home and ducks in bow ties involved. I don't really know how to explain that. So I'm going to say this is a case of you have to read it to understand it. That was probably one of my wilder things. And to try and keep that going for 3 books was so much fun. You will see all of the antics of the residents of the White Peak retirement home throughout every single book in this series. Because the whole White Peak world actually starts with The Girl Next Door and its little prequel. So that's where it started, and it bred this massive sort of 7-book series, which was just so much fun to write. And so, yeah, this is the bookstore that the girls own. I'm just placing a bunch of like the debug books right now, and there's so many of them, and it was so fun to sort of try and organise them and put them in place. And I really realised that I need to get the red shelf mod to place like this debuggy stuff that doesn't stack well, because it was right about now, after I've stacked all of these little books myself, not the stacks from debug, that I realised there's a massive gap. Look at that. It's awful. So I pretty much deleted all of them. The wellness book looked fine, but the rest of them was just dreadful. I had so much fun reading, going through all of these books. I've got reading on the brain and trying to make this place come to life, because I spent so much time in this bookstore, in this fictional world when I was writing, that actually putting it into The Sims was equal parts so difficult and so fun. And I really loved trying to do the storeroom as well, because it's a site of a few scenes, we should say. And these boxes from Eco Living were such fun. And I really loved the stickers on the side. I thought, like, there's a little one with like the little plant seedling. I thought, you know, that's like gardening books. And then there's the Hart, which is a romance, a teddy bear, could be kids' books. And it was just a really fun addition to sort of do that. This is the little staff room. And I would think that normally this would be a bigger room inside my head. But I was sort of towing the line with not wanting to make everything too big, because obviously I'm aware of The Sims, and with all of the packs that we have the lag and everything like that. So I wanted to make it like not massive, but sort of realistic at the same time for what would be a small town. And this picture you're seeing me placing, I know it has absolutely nothing to do with books, but if you read the books, you will understand when I say that is absolutely the kind of thing Sailor would put on the wall behind the counter so that you will see that every single day. I saw it and I just laughed because it's exactly the kind of thing I would imagine her doing. And so to the build, the bookstore is quite simple, and it really is just that, it has the books, it has stuff. This little corner here is the kids' corner. And I actually found some really cute custom art, which I think I'm pulling out in a second, just here, the blocks. And I am absolutely saving those for next week when the infants update comes, because I am so excited for that. And the new pack, I think that's going to be a really cute addition to using all of the new furniture that we're going to get from it, especially all of like the infant stuff. Like, it would make such a cool little playroom or nursery sort of environment. And I just think the colours are so bright and they're so cute. And I mean, massive kudos to the creators of all this no CC art that's in the gallery, because I couldn't do it, and I don't know how people do it. But again, I think I used 2 or 3 different creators. I will make sure they're all in the description box below, along with the links actually for the Bookworms Guide series. So if you do want to go and read the books that inspired this build, you can do that. Well, you can do that as soon as you're done, or now. You can hit pause and go. I won't mind. But so now I'm trying to do the window display. As you can see with the back and forth, it was all the snapping to the edge of the platform. I thought I got rid of it by getting rid of the little half wall, but nope. I really wanted to put some stuff in the back of the shelf there, like the window, and I couldn't do it because it all kept snapping, and it was just so annoying. And now I'm trying to figure out the window display. I know I wanted something really cute, and there is actually a glitch in here that when I have the second floor up, it pretty much everything inside disappears. So, and the first time I saw that, I completely panicked because I was like, oh my God, everything I've done is gone. Although I've saved it, I haven't saved it to my library in the gallery. So, oh my God, this is the worst. And no, it's absolutely fine like this here, but it was a nightmare and it really had me panicking. Here I'm putting some stuff on the window. This is from Strangerville. I honestly came across some really good stuff for Strangerville that I didn't know existed until now. Like that little poster you just saw of like the oranges. Like, that would be so cute for something like a boba shop or a cafe or the bakery, which I do plan to build from the Introvert's Guide. I am going to go and do it because I think it would be fun because it's set in a different sort of space than what the bookstore is. So I can kind of make that a little bit different. It's not identical to the book because, again, it is The Sims and nothing really translates into the game as well as it does from real life or indeed my head. And of course, in my head, I recognise I have an idealised version, and the way that I see things isn't even the way that everybody else would see things when they read the books. So it's going to be quite fun to see if anybody who has read the books, if anybody's visions sort of line up with what I've built here, or does it kind of help to visualize it, or is it absolutely nothing like what you imagined? And I admit I can't actually remember if I ever described the facade of the building, the outside. And so I just kind of went for this bit of a generic brick, which I think is from the Dine Out pack maybe. And it was just really pretty. It was old, and yeah, it just gave me old. And realistically, in the book, none of this stuff outside was here. None of the planters or the trees. The sign was there. Sailor was put in charge of the sign. She has this little chalkboard that she writes quirky little punny things on every day that she changes up, specifically to probably just mess with the tourists a little bit. She has good fun with it. And that's where kind of all the colour really comes from in here. You would have seen at the beginning the little movie clips that I put in. The 3 girls. Sailor was the first one who was reading in the kids area. Holly was the one at the computer. And then Kinsley was the one who was ringing a customer up in the little clips. So it was quite fun to kind of build those as well. I haven't done all of that outfit categories. So I think I might go in and do that and upload it to the gallery. So if you wanted to play with those Sims in their bookstore, you could do that. I really did just make them for the screenshots. But, as in the books, they aren't all a household like they are here. Now, I will say I have play tested this and everything works. The only thing I couldn't get to work was, you've just seen me do the little tables by the front door. Those are what are the new release tables, or they would be in the store. That's, you know, the new books that come in every week. You know, like when you go into like a Barnes and Noble or like a Waterstones if you're in the UK. You go in and they've got like the table in front, which is like, wow, new releases. That's kind of like what that is for me. And I don't know if it's already there, but I do find a sign from, I think it's Get to Work, which is where all the retail stuff came from. I do actually find a sign from there that sort of just goes just behind, which kind of plays in the, you know, the new release thing. So I'm just adding the little bear and the chair that Sailor found quite happy in the clips. Yeah, so here, I'm doing another table. This was the only thing I couldn't do, was on the blue table, for whatever reason, I couldn't set any of the books for sale. I tried moving them, I tried sort of jiggling them about, and I couldn't do it. Everything on the purple is for sale, and I have gone round and I've set things. Like you will see the little books that I set out, the stacks of books and the shelves of books, they're all for sale. And I think I used the tote bags and the mugs from the clutter kit because that plays into the merch that the girls create. They are set for sale as well. And this sign is also Strangerville. I mean, honestly, some of those signs are the coolest thing. And I was so excited to find them because I don't really build a lot with Strangerville unless it's the like actual building. Like I don't do a lot of like the buy stuff. So a lot of the furniture, it's not something I use. But I like the windows and like the doors. I use those quite a lot. And some of the wallpapers are good as well. But so it's not like looking through the signs for the retail stores. Again, I don't build. So it was like discovering a whole new world for me. And it kind of felt like this in the debug as well. I haven't been using the Better Build Buy mod for very long, believe it or not. And trying to find all of these, like finding all these little fences was so fun. And I was really pleased that I was able to find this one to match the park next door. So if you do sort of like I have set it in Magnolia Promenade, couldn't get my words out. If you set it here, it does sort of blend in with the surrounding areas. And I was trying here to line it up with what it is for the park fence, and I couldn't do it. I really wished there was a shorter version of this wall as well, so I could sort of, you know, close off the front and the back a little bit better. But this was actually, the bikes was actually what inspired my delve all the way into the debug. And you'll see the walls that I just pulled out from Get Together and then put back. They're actually going to be used tomorrow because at the time I'm doing this voiceover, it's literally going to be before I upload this video. I am doing my first ever live stream over on Twitch tomorrow night, and I am building from my books, except this time I will be building the cottage that Sophie stays in from my romcom Right Number, Wrong Girl. I won't talk too much about that here because we're talking about this one, but yes, 9 p.m. GMT tomorrow, which is the 10th of March, I will be doing my very first live stream. And if you are so inclined to come over and hang out for a bit and chat about books and The Sims, I would love to have you join me. So yeah, this bit here now I am putting, oh wait, no, I should probably tell you what my Twitch is. Okay, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself because I know what's coming. My Twitch is at Emma Hart Games. I will also pop the link for that in the description box if you want to come over, give me a follow, or just come and check it out tomorrow night. If you miss it, I will upload the VOD onto YouTube so you can watch it, and I'll probably record the build for a speed build as well. So don't worry about that, even if you can't come over to Twitch, or maybe you're just not a Twitch person. So what you've just seen me put down here is the rack from high school years. And that's because, like I said, the girls sort of start a merch business as well from the bookstore because they're largely subsidised by tourism. And so they wanted something that could go a little bit more all year round. And so although you can't actually buy the clothes, it is the one where you can create looks for trendy. And I thought that was quite a cool addition to put in for that, because otherwise the one where you would buy the clothes would be, they'd be buying the entire rack. So, and you've got the bags here as well. They're easy enough to add back in, and they didn't snap anywhere, which was really good. These are the little mugs I'm putting in. In my head, they're book merch. I think it's kind of cute. Yeah, so I'm just putting a lot of the finishing touches in here in terms of the clutter. I didn't do much with the staff room, I have to be honest. I didn't think it would really be used because of the apartment upstairs. And that's where the toilet is. And I figured if your Sim's hungry or whatever, they're just going to go upstairs anyway. So it's not sort of, you know, it wasn't a big deal or a priority for me. This little corner, that's Holly's workspace. And she does wear glasses. So it was a cute idea, I thought, to put down the glasses next to the laptop. In my head, she's putting them down because she's exasperated over some inappropriate slogan that Sailor wants to put on the clothing. So yeah, if you like inappropriate bookish puns, these books might be for you, especially if you like really dirty, inappropriate bookish puns, because Sailor is full of them, which is me. It's me. I'm Sailor. I'm full of them. And I'm just here, just finishing off the stockroom, the storeroom. And I really love these shelves as well. I think, again, I used a lot of the get to work stuff here because it was quite industrial. And I was really pleased to find those that I could put in the stockroom because that's exactly where they would fit. I'm doing very basic furnishing up here in the apartment. The idea was just to kind of show where stuff would go. And I'm aware that all of these lights are skew-if. They're also there in the screenshots because I forgot to change them. But I have changed the lighting into something a little bit more, well, a little bit nicer before I have uploaded it to the gallery. So don't worry, you don't have like these random sources everywhere, all over the place. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what else to sort of say. I think this is coming to the end of the video now as I finish up this. So yeah, if you're willing, come and join me on Twitch. If you're interested, the link for the books and the series will be in the description down below. And, these cabinets. Sorry, yeah, no, those cabinets, they really wound me up because even though they're from the same pack, they're different sizes. If you use the other one, it's kind of the white ones, they're kind of in a little bit. Oh, the worst. Anyway, I know I'm coming to the end of the video. Sorry, I am all over the place. I'm doing a little bit here at the back. And this was just a parking lot. It was just a way really to just sort of fill some space. And I'm just sort of marking out a couple of parking spaces just there. It wasn't the most space, but it worked. So yeah, I removed this back and yeah, I mean, like I said, if you're interested, come and stop by for Twitch tomorrow. And thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you all again soon. Bye.